Good morning, guys, and a happy week. We're outside processing natural chocolate the traditional way on the wood fire, and we have a lot to process. So without further ado, let's go. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. I am just setting up the wood fire so the pot can preheat before I add the chocolate, and we have a lot to process today, so I'm just going to get the fire ready so we can start the chocolate processing. So this is how they look after they have been dried for a couple of days. They will have a brown color, and I hope you watch our previous video when we're harvesting them. So I'm going to add them to the pot now that has been preheated, and I'm going to constantly stir the pot so none will burn, and I'm going to roast them lightly so I can remove the skin of it. They are in the pot now, and this is how beautiful the color look once it has been dried. I am going to go ahead and mix it thoroughly for several minutes at a time, giving breaks so that it can roast properly and none won't burn. This is the first set that has been roasted, and we're trying to cool it down because it is still very hot, and here is steam coming out of the pot. So we're going to make it cool for a couple minutes and transfer it into the mesh strainer, and then we're going to remove the shells from it because now they are very crisp, so they're easy to remove now. Now we're just going to rub the cocoa beans together to remove the shell, and once it has roasted properly, the shell come off very easily. And we're going to pick out the cocoa beans, and here we have some beautifully roasted cocoa bean, very dark in color, just the way we like it, the traditional way. Now the fire has been prepared for another set of chocolate that will be roasting, and they're already in the pot. So here is he just using his hand to give it a mix so they can heat properly, while I'm in the back picking out the ones that I have. I'm just finished picking out the first set of cocoa bean that has been processed, and the skin is very easily removed. It's now time to give the one that is roasting a thorough mix so it won't burn. And here is how beautiful it looks once it is roasting. It has this beautiful brown color, and we're going to finish picking out some more because, like I said, we have a lot to process. And I hope you watch our previous video where we are harvesting the cocoa beans. Following the same process of adding more cocoa bean to the preheated pot and giving it a thorough mix at a time so that the cocoa bean can roast properly. And then we're going to do the same process again of rubbing the cocoa beans and picking out the ones that the shell has been removed from. So the same process continues over and over again. Here is some beautifully roasted cocoa bean that has been removed from the shells, and you can process the cocoa bean the traditional way like it is doing here, where you beat it in a pot or a mortar, but I am going to do it with my food processor just to save time. And this processor works very fast and it gives the same result. So I'm just going to use this to process because I have a lot of chocolate to be processed and I want to save as much time. But you can do it in a mortar where you beat it just as the whole time traditional way, but my food processor works very good for this. So to get it the way I like, I just add the cocoa beans and process it out into powder so I can start to form the bars. And here we have some natural cocoa powder, nothing added. It's just processed right in the food processor, and this is 100% cocoa powder, all organic. To get it to the final stage of forming the cocoa bars, I'm going to preheat it because I want the natural oil to remove once it goes into the food processor. And this is the same thing that is done when you use a mortar to beat the cocoa. It produces heat and the natural oil release. So just to save time, I have preheated again the chocolate or the cocoa powder. And now I'll be adding it back to the food processor very warm. And once it hit the food processor, it's going to start to melt with the natural oils. Nothing added, just the natural way, just using the food processor. It is getting smoother and smoother, forming the cocoa bars. And guys, this processor is very powerful, guys. Look how beautifully firm it is getting, and it has a lot of heat. It is getting so smooth that once I have taken it up with my hands, it's going to form the cocoa bar once I have squeezed it. So I'm going to turn it off and remove the top, and this is how inside of it look. Wow, this is just natural chocolate that we eat, guys. And now I'm going to form the bars and place it the traditional ways on banana leaf so it can be dried and form. And look how easily form a bar can be. It can easily form once I use the food processor. All I do is just squeeze it together and the cocoa bar is formed. Traditionally, just rolling and squeezing and forming the cocoa bar or the chocolate bar in your hand is the way to go, and placing it on some form of leaf or something that it can dry with. And once you use these techniques, whether you use the mortar or the food processor, it do produces heat, so the natural oil that is in the chocolate is going to be released, so you can form the bar even more easier. So I'm just going to finish forming more chocolates, and we get a lot of chocolate out of these one that we have processed. And once I form them, doing the same step of placing them on the banana leaf, and you can see the beautiful color. And these are all our chocolates that we have processed.